Good morning, people. It is icicle on the testicle weather here in Canberra this morning. Great to see you. We just had a bit of a chat to Luke on 2GB overnight, telling him stories. All of them were true. I didn't lie, so he doesn't have to worry. But I told him about you, Auntie Jackie Lambie, trying to steal my big boy when we had a yarn on your lounge and you interviewed us those 3 years ago when you couldn't come in. We're down here. Look at that. Look at this beautiful Canberra lighting along the lake. How good is that? All our American and UK viewers, this is our nation's capital. How beautiful. There's a lake right out in front, and I'll try and find, there's our Parliament House. You can see a light higher than any others. That's the light on top of the flag at Parliament House. From there, I don't know if we can see it, but we'll try and have a look. No, we can't, it's too dark. But up there, at the end of the avenue, which looks out directly from the Prime Minister's office, is, oh look, I'm in darkness. I don't want to be in the dark anymore. Come out into the light, come out from under that bridge, living life again, shaking the tree, shaking hands, telling stories, making people laugh, having people tell me I can't have my dogs in their business, and I get a chance to educate them. Some people you'll never educate. But yeah, we are back in Canberra and it's pretty exciting. Either today or tomorrow, I just got to confirm it this morning. We've got a meeting with the Minister who's responsible for assistance animals, disabilities, and they've got a Royal Commission at the moment, so I'm in the process of writing a submission for that. And the third thing she's responsible for is assistance animals, disabilities, and the redress scheme that this government's trying to make applicant friendly again. Unlike hey hey ho ho ScoMo, you got to go, what your government did to took what Julia Gillard designed to be a simple, easy, gentle process. Your government turned it into an adversarial, disgusting. I'm not going to say the questions they ask you now in this redress scheme. I mean, anyone would think ScoMo's paying this money out of his own frickin' pocket. The turd. I do not like that. He hugged me in his office. You've seen the photos on my Facebook page and YouTube. I've inserted them in some of the videos. He lied to me. He told me my life would get better. Then I spent 2.5 years living under a bridge in fear that the police were going to be called on me every time I walked my dogs into a bloody business or got on a train or a bus. The ferries and the light rail are the only decent people who didn't seem to care. You know, I've got a video on there of, I'm going to get a guy to help me edit and chop together a story, because the last train I caught, the station master didn't want me to have my 2 dogs on the train because it's a New South Wales policy, New South Wales Trains policy, not law, policy, that I can't have 2 dogs. But the law doesn't state how many dogs you can have or not. That's the federal law. The 1992 National Disability Discrimination Act, Section 9 and Section 54, and also the NDIS legislation covers it. I'm not as familiar as that as I am with the other, because I don't really need to be. I'm not covered by NDIS, which another thing Scott Morrison promised, his staff promised. Man, talk about being bright-eyed, starstruck when I first met him and I didn't look below the surface. He didn't even remember me. How good's that? I'm walking 500 k's in thongs, pushing a pram with my dog, which I met him at a footy game on the weekend, the Southern Districts game, where he's the #1 supporter and he kicks off the first kick every year. He didn't get to as many games as Prime Minister. I don't think you want to work for Australia anymore, ScoMo. You stuffed up the Laura Bingle campaign. You held on to all these portfolios. You robo-called us. I got called during that, but I never took a phone call for 2.5 years during COVID. I didn't want to talk to the world, but I was studying. I was studying things like Freedom of Information Act requests. I was studying the legality of filming public servants in the course of their public duties on public property owned by the public Yeah, I learnt from the Americans, the First, Second and Fourth Amendment guys like Accountability for All and the Wandering Hippie and Leroy Truth Investigations. Some of these channels you should check out. They do mighty work in activism. I'm about bringing accountability just to this one area of assistance animals. Then we'll move on to other things because people are giving me stories. I'm moving to Canberra because this is where the action is. I've been asked for help with a house or housing accommodation for me and the dogs. That'll be the first time since 2012 that, oh look, can't use that hand that way. I'll have to hold it this way, a bit khaki-handed. First time since 2012 I'm asking for help with the housing because I think I need to put roots down for the kids and for me while we do this activism work. See, I've always wanted to be able to move freely, but I've moved to the point where this is where it is. I don't need to move anymore for a while. I'll still take off when Parliament's not sitting and stuff, and I'll go and I'll do. We've instigated a thing called compliance audits, where I'll turn my camera on and we'll walk into a business, and we'll see the sort of reaction we get. Woolworths, outstanding. Bunnings, outstanding. The shopping centres down here, their security guys, outstanding. You know the problem we're getting is these young guys at university who are working part-time in restaurants who think they control the world. They think their feelings override laws and have no manners about the way they go about things. Get your dogs out of here. You can't have your dogs in here. Rather than say, excuse me, sir, is there a reason you have your dogs with you in our establishment? A nice courteous, rather than a demanding get out of here, or you can't have your dogs in here, or maybe next time it's not a good idea if you bring your dogs in. And then when you explain, they go, oh yeah, I know about that. Well, if you know about that, why are you so ignorant in the way you approach us? We got our dogs for a quality of life, to help us navigate through untrustworthiness. Right? The anxiety when you walk into a business for the first time with your assistant animal, which you're legally and lawfully able to do, and 12 times you have the police called on you for doing nothing wrong, 10 times in New South Wales and 2 times down here, never being arrested, never being fined, never being nothinged, right? But then you turn around and you take Aldi to the Human Rights Commission for physically pushing you out of their Rydalmere store back in 2020, and they offer you a $100 gift card as long as you shut up and you don't tell the story. Well, there you go, Aldi, you're famous. How disrespectful, a $100 gift card in compensation. At least the law courts offered me $5,000, which I was able to turn down. See, I'm no Judas with 12 pieces of silver betraying Jesus. I'm a bloke with a passion and a story and a commitment, and I hope integrity. A couple of politicians have said to me, I appreciate your integrity, Andrew. And what a great compliment. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the likes of Mary, who I heard about, with her situation with her service dog. The blind lady who was kicked out of a motel last week. I'm doing it for her. See, there's a book I love. It's called the Bible. I'm not telling anyone else to love it. I love it. This is my love. It's what I love to read. In Proverbs 31 verses 8 and 9, it says, be a voice to those who don't have a voice, to seek justice for those who can't seek justice for themselves. We all need a mission in life, and that is mine. I give my commitment to every service dog handler, every service dog trainer, every person who is associated with somebody with a service dog, that we're going to make change. We have in Newcastle. I rode the buses and the light rail all week and I was questioned once by a driver, and that's all right. Unlike America, with their ADA, American Disability Act, where you're not allowed to ask what if it's a service dog. You're not allowed to ask because it comes under their HIPAA laws, which is their health privacy laws, which states that no one's allowed to infringe upon your personal information. I think there needs to be a balance here in Australia. I think we've got it right. You know, a business is entitled. If I ran a business and somebody walked in with a dog, I'd like to know that it is a service animal or not. And if it's not, and I'm a dog-friendly business, I may allow that dog in. It's up to me. But I have a liability, a legal and insurance liability. If that dog goes crazy and bites someone or another dog or something, then I'm liable. I'm also responsible for my staff and other customers that are in my business. So I understand from that point of view. But I also have the right to live my life with the aid of my assistance animals. They're not dogs, because when they're working, they are it's like a medical device with Essie alerting us to who's around, whether I need to be wary. And Zeusy, when I get upset and that, he comes up and jumps up on me and cuddles me. I want to give a shout out to Canberra Hospital. Canberra Hospital, with a beautiful bunch of people, worked really hard and diligently on a 26-page document on dealing with all animals, not just assistance animals, but if you're in hospital really crook and you're missing your dog, they've got a policy in place that you can bring your dog in for a visit. Now, we all know the healing power of animals. That's why I'll walk backwards a bit because I'm in the dark there. We've all experienced uniqueness, like dogs detecting cancer on their owners' legs or arms, where they'll lick one spot continually. My dogs are just amazing. Yesterday, a dog came running up to play with Essie. He was a bit exuberant, and he sort of came and lunged at me. Well, Zeusy just pinned him down. He didn't bite him. He had his mouth around his throat, but he was just holding him there to protect me because he thought that he was going me. And there's been plenty of times where dogs playfully have come up and he's done nothing and just played. He's the most gentle, beautiful dog in the world. But 2 weeks ago, Essie was attacked by a dog in Kempsey. This dog was feral, and the owner was nonchalant. When she walked past. The newsagent came out and asked if we were okay. She was that concerned. Here they come. The children are back. There they are. Look at that. They're off duty at the moment. They're just being dogs. They're having fun. I think this is why they're so loyal. And when it comes time to put their jackets on, they'll lift their heads and they know they go to work. And as soon as the jackets come off, you see a change. They know when they're due to work, and they know when it's time to play. They are dogs after all, but they are also my best mates, my confidence. They're something for me to focus on because they're dependent upon me than just me. And my depression, I'm just talking about my depression. My depression is very selfish. It's me, I, woe is me. Wah. But when I've got these guys, I have to focus on them. They can't walk into Woolies. Well, they do, but they can't walk in and pay for their own food. I'm sure they'd like to, and they're probably bloody capable of. They're smarter than me. I'm starting to rabbit on, but I just wanted to put a shout out to 2GB, who followed us in 2020 on our walk. Even had one of their listeners phone in and see what he could do, and I said I wouldn't mind a beer, so he dropped off a couple of beers down at Arncliffe one night. As he approached, it was dark, and as he barked, and he says, okay to come in? I said, yeah, sure. She was doing her job. But what a beautiful morning. Hey, look at the frost. We're going to have a frosty one here in Canberra this morning. One last look at the view. Look at that. We're going to love you and leave you. I'm going to update you when I have this meeting with the ministers' people. And until then, like we always say, love and licks, people. Love and licks. We appreciate you taking every step with us on Never Walking Alone. Bless you all. Have an awesome day.